Hey guys, glad you could join me on the 5th day of No Shape Remember. So today we're going to be exploring some of the study spaces on campus. Usually students study at their housing location, but sometimes people need alternative places to study just to stay productive and make their workload interesting. Being an on-campus resident makes that really easy since you're close to places like the Zell Miller Learning Center or the Science Library. Today we're going to explore those locations so we can find better places to take Zoom calls and collaborate with your friends and study. So right now I'm in one of the private study rooms where a lot of students like to come and take Zoom calls, as well as just study individually. The room has a capacity of about 2 students, and as you can see from the tables behind me, it's about 6 feet apart. You have to wear a mask if you're in the room with another person, but if you're in the room individually, you don't have to wear a mask, as you can see I am doing right now. There's also a whiteboard if you're trying to collaborate and work with other people. And what's really nice about MLC is every room also does have a window. And if I take you a little bit closer to that, you can see that is the entrance of MLC. Over here is also Tate. And if you were to, look through this window, over here would be Bolton. And this is a first come, first serve room. There's no reservation for these types of rooms at MLC. And if you're unable to get a room, as you can see outside, there's multiple different cubicle-like places that a lot of students study. In fact, over here, you can actually see there's computers as well. And on the side of this place, you'll just see a bunch of the private study rooms. In the center of MLC on each floor, there's just like a social study place where a lot of students come and study together. These are not private in any means, but it's a good place to study, especially if you need the ambient noise. And on the side, you'll see all the private study rooms, of course. If you want to study outside, there's actually a nice place. You can, of course, see the stadium over here, but there's a bridge that connects the Tate Student Center to the MLC, and over here you can see a lot of students like to study.
So currently I'm in a quiet study space at Terry, and this is just a place that a lot of students like to study. It's in the center of Terry, and you just see a bunch of people here. This is a great place to study, especially if you like the ambient noise of other people being around.
Additionally, if you want to study outside, you can actually study in the Terry courtyard over here. It's actually really nice, especially when the weather is good, and especially if Terry is closed on the weekend, which it sometimes is. I learned that the hard way. It's a great place to study, honestly, and I like to study here when the weather is great, since it's just nice and comfortable, and it looks really pretty. As you can see behind me, similar to MLC, the main library has a bunch of private rooms, but also there is space in between the private rooms in the open that you can just study. And if you like the ambiance of people walking around and stuff like that, and you need it not to be like pin drop silent, as well as you're not taking a Zoom call that you're speaking in, then those are a perfect place for you to study. I prefer a little bit of a private, quiet environment when I'm studying. So I would try to get one of the rooms that are also first come, first serve, similar to MLC. This is just one of the experiences of the main library. Let's go up a floor so I can show you a little bit of how the main library looks. So there are 7 floors to the main library, and all of them look very similar with books everywhere and tables to study. In my vlog, I actually did study at one of these tables, if you remember that. And I usually don't like to study at these tables, mostly because I don't like looking at books. But the 4th floor, which I'm showing you guys right now, is one of the most interesting floors. It's like a secret place in the main library, as it has so many colors and a modern design that looks very different than all the books you see everywhere else. A lot of students come to study here. A lot of my friends come here. It's just a very nice, different atmosphere than any other place on campus, as well as the main library. The law library is really unique in how you can actually study here. There's a lot of different options. You have these bar stools over here that you can study at. You can also study at this courtyard, which is really actually one of the most comfortable places on this campus to study. It's really nice and clean, and it's just great, especially if you want to sit outside and study when the weather is nice, just like the Terry courtyard. A lot of people ask me what's the most comfortable place on campus to study, and I gotta say, the law library got you covered, with these sofa-like thingies that you can just sit on and just almost fall asleep. It's just so much fun to sit on these. I do a lot of my work for my classes on here, especially when I want to read the textbook for my class. I find it much easier to do it over here. I'll fall asleep in my room, but if I'm doing it here, I do not fall asleep and I actually get stuff done. But if you actually do want to fall asleep, funny enough, I think the law library just has like little beds over here that you can actually just sit on and sleep in. And like the main library, the law library also has books and places to study with that. The science library also has a unique layout where you can study as well. And most of the study spaces in the science library are not very private, but it's just a bunch of books and a lot of open space with a lot of open tables to study at, which a lot of people prefer, especially with the ambient noise that you can get. And the last place I wanted to show is just this like small study room in the science library. And if you want to like have a very private study environment, then this probably will be it. That's it, guys, on all the different study spaces that I was able to cover in this video. If you're interested in more study spaces, you can actually download the UGA app. And in that place, there's a section for study spaces, as well as the website for UGA that you can actually access as well. The information for that will be linked down in the description. Other than that, please like and subscribe, as there'll be so much more content coming from us this year. And comment down below, what's your favorite study space on campus? I bet a lot of students want to know. Have a good one.